at me, fella. Look here.
Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Troy Ego, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from inside the Power Band, this is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, Molverine, along with my heroic companions, Ben in a jar he go.
Hi.
And the always titillating Slave 2 Weeks.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, folks. This week, we're talking about the 2025
Movie.
likely to never be a classic, The Electric State by Netflix Films, directed by Anthony and Joe Russo. Yep, our old buddies. Costs a shitload of money, and it's based on the work/book by Simon Stålenhag. I think I got that name right.
I think so.
And it stars Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, Giancarlo Esposito, Jason Alexander, Stanley Tucci, Woody Harrelson, etc., etc. Let's dig in. High level.
I'm really like hoping that we don't devolve into more Marvel hatred, because this is essentially just like a Marvel movie in a different form, it seems. I don't know, man. We've spoken many a time about wanting to see some new IP, and similar to the ridiculous movie we watched on Netflix a couple months ago, the Space Nazi one with the whatever the fuck it was. What was that one called again?
Oh, Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon. Similar to Rebel Moon, like, I don't know, it's like taking a swing, ? But I just didn't really go anywhere for me. It was kind of it was another French vanilla movie. Like, I don't quite know how to process a visually feastish sci-fi movie that has no heart whatsoever. You know, it just really confuses me. Being
Sure.
From the generation that had very, very little kind of sci-fi to chew on as a youth, to now have something that's like really clearly a lot of money was spent, but it just like it's nothing. It's kind of confusing. So I don't know. I mean, it was a movie, and I don't really want to like beat the living shit out of it, but I feel like we probably will. That's kind of, I guess, the initial pass here.
Benoit, thoughts?
I'm officially canceling my Netflix account.
I love that.
I don't know what everybody thinks the tone of a Simon Stålenhag painting is, but it's not this.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think I don't even know if you could call it a swing and a miss. It's like showing up to a fucking basketball game with a football or a fucking baseball bat. Like, it's just fucking like, I don't even know. It's just not even close. Yeah, I won't go any further than that for the moment. But.
Okay. All right.
I tend to agree.
Okay. As usual, I have a different perspective. I thought this movie was fantastic. I loved every minute of it. It was fucking sci-fi, great story, Russo brothers, fantastic cast. Of course, I'm totally kidding. I really didn't like this movie.
Thank fuck. I thought you were serious.
It was
for a second. I was like, oh no.
I started watching this last night. I finished it today. I could not get into this movie, and I'm just going to go from high level here. It's
do it.
Firstly, it's disappointing coming from the Russo brothers. It gave us Civil War, Winter Soldier. I think they did Winter Soldier too.
Yeah,
but you know, I consider them to be talented. This is another great example in a long line that has come up in the last 6 to 8 months of movies where there just really is no story here. And It's a lot of tropey rehashed shit, and there's no characters connecting, which is what makes you give a shit about the people. And the stories just kind of goes nowhere / non-existent. You know, I mean, that's the shortest way I can sum it up. I mean, I read an article that was a review of this that was very similar to what Ben just said, right? You know, it was, this lacked like the melancholy of the Simon Stålenhag book, because it's like a picture book that tells the story in like paragraphs, you know, with the pictures being sort of front and center. And that's exactly how it felt. I mean, it's got no soul, it's got no heart, and it felt like just a collection of tropes in a blender, dude, and shit we've seen before, up to and including The Matrix, Star Wars. Like, I mean,
Ready Player One.
They're all there. I mean, they're all there. What'd you say, Rogue One?
Ready Player One.
Yeah, Ready Player One, Rogue One, every Star Wars movie. Like, it was upsetting. I was really trying hard to like. I mean, there's a lot of cool things here. Like, it's like if you had the body of a really cool car, you know, but like all the inner bits, the interior and the engine and all that, just were not we're not present or not working right. Like, the bones of something great is here for sure. And I think this is probably a better place to focus our energy. Although I'm sure we're going to hate on it plenty, but, you know, the bones for everything are here. It's just like, there's nothing on the inside. Like, we had really cool aesthetics, a really cool aesthetic to work off of in the Simon Stålenhag artwork, you know, and like a whole kind of dystopian thing. But like, this doesn't feel dystopian at all. It feels
it's buddy
like
cop, fucking happy times.
Thank you. Yes. My God, dude. Somebody else talk, please.
A very brief 11sies. There was like someone somewhere said that it was like a safe choice, and it seems like it's reasonable to assume that Netflix probably had less of a hand on it than a normal studio might have, which means that there's a reasonable chance that the team that put this together like wrote it and made it this way intentionally, maybe to get a broad audience, maybe to do whatever. But like maybe just the highest kind of viewpoint here is that you're just too many cooks in the kitchen style. If you're making a safe bet, there's a very good chance it's not going to be a home run. It's to use the, you know, Benny was talking about going to a basketball game with a football. Before you said that, Benny, I was thinking like visualizing like a baseball analogy where instead of swinging for a home run, you like bunt. You know, you're never going to get the ball very far bunting. You know, like it's just a safe thing. And it just feels like they were just playing it safe with the buddy cop, playing it safe with the same old story, playing it safe by stealing 6 things from 6 different movies and Frankenstein them together. And it didn't end up anywhere, you know? So maybe that's a different way to put it. I thought the safe thing was a astute kind of thought on it.
I don't know if I agree with that at all.
Yeah, cool.
I'm like in the this. I mean, if anything, this seems more to me like, I don't know, Netflix trying to justify the fucking $25 a month they're charging now, like
maybe
where they started at 7 or what, you know, and whatever. That's the fucking business model. I don't fucking care. Like, we need to make something epic and big, but let's spend a shit ton of money on something. Yeah, whatever, do that. You know, like that's what it seems like to me. Like, playing it safe, I don't know, maybe, but like you had to start somewhere. You had to start with a fucking script. You had to start with something, and you had to know that was fucking complete and utter tripe from the fucking get-go. Like, how do you...
Dude, you're fucking cooking, man. Just please keep going. It's great.
You're dead on.
How the fuck do you get there? Like, it's just...
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
Go ahead.
So, you know, there's supposed to be like a touching relationship between, you know, Millie Whitney Houston and her little bro. And like, by the time like you get to the emotional moment at the end of the movie, like I just didn't fucking care.
No.
I know.
I could not. I did not fucking. It's like it's Christmas and they're in a VR world and it's like a tearful like you gotta let me go and like I just did not fucking care at all.
No.
You know what I cared about? You know what I liked the most about this movie?
What?
The fucking diner robot. That's like,
Totally.
yeah, dog, we ain't got that. We got beans on a Twinkie.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was fucking it. Like,
Yeah.
that was the moment. Like that connected with me, but almost like nearly nothing else did.
I know.
Not the relationship between the brother and the sister, not fucking Giancarlo Esposito
coming
fucking
around.
Doing like channeling Giancarlo Esposito as Foghorn Leghorn, as Wesley Snipes as Blade Robot Hunter, like I say get out of my way. I gotta kill me some robots here.
Bang the
I
fuck
ain't supposed
on,
to kill
dude.
no peoples, but I'll kill you if you don't get out of my way because I got to kill these robots. I don't know that
As
in
a
nutshell,
robot
that's
playing
it to
a
me.
robot.
Like it's just
Yeah.
it's just like I don't know how they were like editing this and going like, yeah, this is going
That's
to be
it.
great.
That's definitely it.
Like I just, I mean, maybe I'm being too harsh. I don't think I
No.
am. Though.
No,
Like,
you're
it's
not.
just,
No, I wish you would just do this more, like more episodes.
You're not. I remember seeing or reading somewhere, and I don't know the actual ethnicity of the people that it was talking about, but it was like a airplane crash study that was done. And I'm just going to say, I think it might have been the Philippines where like culturally, let's just say it was Valverde, because I actually don't know what country it was. Culturally in Valverde, the Valverdians are very subservient to authority. And so there was a study of a couple of plane crashes, and one in particular where the co-pilot in the plane knew the plane was going to crash and like knew that they were going to die and everyone was going to die, but did not correct the captain because culturally it was extremely inappropriate to question authority.
Yes,
and
I've
to,
heard this story.
and it's just like the most fascinating, like, what the fuck? Especially when you come
It
from
is.
being a brash American piece of shit. And like, I kind of just feel like these exec meetings or editing rooms have something like that dynamic where it's like, I got my fucking job. I'm going to shut the fuck up and let this guy make whatever fucking movie he wants to make because I need to get my ass paid. And I hope that that's not really a flavoring that's sprinkled across this stuff, but it's the only realistic justification for sitting in a room being like, oh, this is great. Yeah, let's make this.
Yeah.
I just don't get it otherwise.
it's movies made by people that don't understand anything about movies.
Maybe.
That's all I can say. Like, this is just,
I can't.
and I don't know what happened. Maybe it got away from the Russo brothers or like, something, went wrong or like,
Or the writers.
they, yeah, I don't know. It's just, holy fuck.
It's crazy to me because, like, I mean, obviously everything you guys just said, right? I heard that plane story, Chad, before, and it blew me away when I heard it. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's wild.
And Ben, like, your sentiment is spot on, dude. Like, I pulled up both writers on IMDb, okay? And these guys are like a team. They've been working together a lot. They've worked with the Russo brothers a lot. So these are their credentials are Chronicles of Narnia, all three of them.
Bunch of adventures.
First Avenger, which was awesome. Dark World, terrible. Pain and Gain was great. Winter Soldier, Agent Carter, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, Gray Man, which was also great. This is like the only turd of the bunch. You know,
it's
what
like
I mean?
the Marvel writing room. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of is. But I mean, putting that aside for a second, like just thinking about like, okay, this is like a team within a team that kind of works together, like these guys have done movies outside of Marvel, inside of Marvel, and like these are good movies. So something got past all of them, all four of them,
Or
the
past
two
over
writers
them.
and or over them. And I think that's probably more appropriate. Now, Netflix doesn't really strike, they kind of strike me as kind of working outside the bounds a little bit, but maybe not, man, because this clearly was meddled with, because there is zero soul to this movie, unfortunately. I mean, I will say this, like, to speak to something positive, like the very end bit really kind of knits the entire thing together, and it's fantastic. It's not enough to save
the more you know lesson video that she gives at the end.
Just when she's doing the video and just talking about human connection and all that stuff, it's like, yes, totally, like all that stuff is important. That's why we need to be connected as a people, as a race, and not be so disconnected with all these machines. Like, that was great. It was too little, too late, and not enough to save me from the previous 2 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd argue that message is valuable.
I'm not sure I agree
outside of the movie. Like, my eyes fucking were like flipping back in their head when it was like ramming a fucking get off your iPhone message down your throat. I don't know.
Well, yeah,
because I agree with the message, but the placement of the as like, I just don't give a shit. Like,
well, no, at that point, who would give a shit, Because like I was waiting for something kind of deeper like that, because there's like, again, there's some cool bones here to work with, I was like, there's got to be something here coming that's going to be kind of cool. And it's like that one thing for 2 minutes at the end, it was great, but it was like upsetting because now at that point, you're so pissed. You just want to freaking murder your TV and, God knows what else.
Wasn't that the scene where she's like having a heartfelt message and like the piano version of fucking Wonderwall is in the background or something? Like,
yeah, it was.
Yes.
The amount of needle drop bullshit in this movie, dude. Oh my Lord.
I know. It's bad.
It sounded like, Benny, you might have been on the motorcycle of like messaging is not welcome at the end there.
No, not at all. It felt like hey, not only did it feel tacked on like a fucking
motherfucker,
like a fucking G.I. Joe PSA, but it just like I felt like it missed, like it just like it was like tone deaf to the rest of the movie. It's just like going on about humanity. It's like, what about the fucking robots that are you lumping them in with humanity? Like what are we talking about here? Like it just I don't know. And then the Wonderwall on piano, like really
just too. It was too good.
Just fucking threw me over the edge of like. I just wanted to break. I wanted to physically break something.
I know,
like a robot.
I was walking around like just say it like out loud. I was just like, God, I fucking hate everything. I was like, I fucking hate Hollywood. I fucking hate movies. I fucking hate all of this shit. And then I went outside and I was like, all right, just try to keep it positive, dude. Just stay focused. And then I was like, let me pull up let's see if I can find an interview in the movie. And in the interview I found, and the only thing I had time to watch was an interview of Millie Bobby Brown, or sorry, what do you call her?
Millie Whitney Houston.
Millie
Whitney Houston interviewing Millie Whitney Houston because she had done 2 movies. So they had to cram it all into one thing. So it was her interviewing her, like ha, 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 ha. And it was so bad, dude. And she was so bad in the interview. It was so dumb. And I was like, I just wanted to claw my fucking eyes out. I was like, this sucks. Everything sucks. Because for me, it went like, okay, since we're really going hard on the hate, I'm just going to let this fucking rip. Because like, it just like when I saw all the tropes, like first I was like, okay, this movie doesn't really have any heart. And it just like grows like a cancer within you. You know what I mean? Like you're like that fucking guy from the Star Wars gangster rap. I can feel the anger dwelling within you. Right. That was me. So it's growing. And like by the end of the movie, I was just like, I fucking hate everything about Hollywood. I hate movies. I hate the whole fucking thing because this movie just sort of like kind of embodied a lot of that, at least for me in the moment an hour ago. It was like all the tropes from all these movies, all these plot devices from all these sci-fi movies just thrown into the thing. And here comes Chris Pratt. And he's kind of dumb, but he's kind of cool, but he's kind of like Star-Lord and every other character in every other movie he's played. And it's like, okay. And then here comes Giancarlo Esposito, and he's just like, hey, guess what? He's the fucking villain again. Awesome. Like we haven't talked about that a million times in the last 2 months. And then at the end, he has a redemption, and it's like, Darth Vader being like, no, wait, I'll save you. Okay, awesome, man. And then Stanley Tucci goes and finds the special VR helmet, and it's black and red, just like Darth Vader. And it's like, okay, awesome. Now he's going to fucking go kick some ass. Like, oh my God, dude. It was just, the whole thing was like that, man. Like, no really great dialogue whatsoever. Like Ben's right. The fucking interaction with the robot at the goddamn diner, dude, which was like 5 lines of exchange and dialogue, was like the best part of the fucking whole thing. You know what I mean? It was just ridiculous, man. Little kids trapped in the fucking VR machine forever. No, wait, you got to come. I mean, it's like, dude, all of this shit has been fucking written before, performed before, filmed before, and acted before. I mean, it's like, come on already. And on top of that, how the fuck do you start with like this super fucking cool artwork, dude, by this guy, right? That it's so different and so weird and so freaking Scandinavian, man. It's like, I don't understand how that's your start off point and you end with this piece of shit. I just don't get it, man. I really don't fucking get it. I think I'm done.
I'm with you, dude. I like how fired.
Yeah, I think this is a visceral reaction to just like the Netflix like charging me more than they've ever charged me, and like booting everybody that I've let use my account off of the account, and then being like, pay us more, bitch.
Yeah,
and then this is what they give me, and like. It's also just, I feel like, I don't know how Simon Stålenhag feels about this, but like, oh my God, it just feels like a knife in the back of the source work,
Oh
for
my
sure.
God,
I mean,
right,
but
dude?
the story, as far as I understand it, is more or less accurate, right? Like it's more or less like what transpires, but the tone is just like
fucking a 180, dude.
Yeah. You're going from this like really kind of like melancholy
kind of
like lonely feeling, eerie, world.
It's like The Road
to
or something.
This like, to this
But
like nonstop fucking action roller coaster where Jason Alexander shows up for fucking 3 minutes to play a fucking douchebag in a trailer or whatever. Like,
and that's the other thing. All the best people are fucking in the movie for 2 seconds, dude. There's not enough Ki-hee Kwan. There's definitely not enough Jason Alexander. It's like, what the fuck? Really, dude? I just like, oh man.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like, like I'm not like necessarily on the, like, I despise, modern movie making in Hollywood and all that. There is a lot of crap for sure. But good stuff still comes along. This is not one of them. I think my reaction is more like, okay, this is what you're charging me for. So you can, like you tried to justify booting my mom off my Netflix account by going, well, we're going to charge you more money, but that's because we really want to bring you more engaging, great original content. And I'm like, this is it, motherfuckers.
I love it, dude.
You.
I love how
you're
playing this corporate hate angle into your bashing. I love it, dude. It's totally true too. I mean, look, I
and it's the point of the movie. That's the funniest bit.
I'm giving you. Yeah, I mean, I'm giving you what I normally don't say. I usually choke all that shit back because you're right. Like, there is a lot of great stuff coming out of Hollywood. There's a lot of great TV shows that I really want to catch up on right now more than anything.
Sure, yeah.
There's definitely some great content. So I'm giving you like, this super dark lever Kev version of like, what I thought. And that was kind of just like a 10-minute period that I had, about an hour ago.
It's easy to feel like that when stuff like this happens.
But it is because like, it's all right there, man. I'm not making any of that up. Like all the tropes, the tropes are just like, this is the tropiest fucking trope-tastic trope fest I've ever fucking seen, man.
No doubt.
Quite possibly. And just like the amount of threads that have been rehashed from other science fiction films is it's fucking staggering, man. It really is. And I'm looking at, I just pulled up the Simon Stålenhag on the internet machine here. And like, you know, I go to images and like, I'm scrolling through these images while we're talking. And I'm like, this movie is not in these pictures, man. You know what I mean? Like these pictures are fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, his stuff's great.
It's fucking great. And it's like, where is this movie in these pictures?
I think the funniest bit, like I was saying a second ago, the funniest bit is that the seeming message of the movie is, you know, down with corporations and get off of your phone through this heartfelt fucking buddy cop flick. And it's like brought to you by mega corporation on your fucking phone. You know, like it's like, it makes no sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense.
Brought to you by tone deaf mega corporation.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Dude, I just
no
want
sense of irony or
it's
fucking hypocrisy.
exactly.
Like,
exactly. At least like a Ready Player One, the whole point of it was the tropiness. The whole point of it was lifting from, you know, late 80s materials. And like, no matter what you think of the thing, it was like, that was kind of the point. Whereas this is, the point of this work is not tropiness. Tropiness are like shortcuts to get a movie done. And it was just like,
no, dude.
but when you were in your mega rant there,
least
just hang on one second, dude. You're going to love this.
Okay.
When you were in your mega rant,
Okay.
I was just kind of like, my eye was wandering and I saw the poster for this movie, which I hadn't seen. And the tagline for this movie, which is the cherry on top of ball kick fucking bullshit, is Rage with the Machines.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
And it couldn't be more of a punch in the fucking face of like what this movie is about. Like Rage with the Machines. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm surprised they didn't like segue from fucking Piano Wonderwall straight into like Bulls on Parade or something.
Totally.
Totally, man. I'm surprised they didn't say Rage with the Machines. I'm surprised Chris Pratt didn't say that shit when he was giving his like blinking line. I blink. Like, oh my God, dude. It was too good.
Dude, the outro music for this episode is going to be "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me."
Right.
I mean, Killing in the Name.
This movie is the 12-year-old who's never listened to Nirvana wearing the Urban Outfitters Nirvana shirt of a movie. It's like, it's like you have no idea what fucking you're doing, man.
You know what I kept thinking? Well, a couple of things. First I was like, please, like at least just like reach under the table and just jack me off a little bit. You know, like just try. You know what I mean? If you're gonna,
footsies, you know,
thank you. If you're gonna put this fucking shit in front of me and force me to watch it, it's like at least fucking reach under there, man, and put a little effort into it. Secondly, as I was watching this, I was thinking about like all the tropes and the rehashed storylines, and I was like, dude, this is there's an episode of The Simpsons where Bart ends up getting an elephant from the radio station. Chad, you probably remember that. And like,
yeah,
the manager of the radio station at one point is like, if you two don't like, you know, get it together, we're gonna replace you with the DJ 2000. It was like a robot essentially. It had all these stupid pre-recorded responses, you know, and it was just like, hey, how about those clowns in Congress? What a bunch of clowns, you know? And I was like, that's what Hollywood feels like to me right now. It's like, let's just put it in the old, filmmaker 2000 machine and see what it spits out. And it's like, this is what we got.
I have to imagine that it was intentional that you brought that up because the character Cosmo is literally that, the fucking canned responses to Alan Tudyk saying the same shit over and over again.
Yeah, right. Exactly, man.
I love it. Do we need to vent anymore? Do we have any other venting? I could keep venting.
Well, I mean, there might be some more that comes up, man, but I think
I don't know if I have any constructive criticism for this movie.
Yeah, not constructive. Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything I can mine, out of here with any amount of positivity.
There's like topical stuff, like the idea of, I don't know, like in the Animatrix, the second Renaissance stuff, are the robots real or not? Are they sentient or not? Like that space is interesting. It's got nothing really
It
to do
is
with this movie,
interesting.
but it's kind of touched on here. Like that's an interesting topic, or the broader AI stuff.
Yeah, but I
don't
think
know.
the point there, Chad, is that those are great spaces to explore. You know what I mean? And like if you wanted to, use the book as a basis, right? So I'm making a pretty big assumption here that the book is like mostly pictures and artwork because the guy's an artist, right? And then it's got
I think
like
I think
paragraphs
any
on the
description or
pages.
story is just separate from, generally speaking. I think he's very art driven. I ended up following the guy for a long time.
Right. But my
And it's just
understanding
art.
of the book is that there are paragraphs, to go along with the artwork that do tell this story. Right.
Yeah, it's like a girl looking for her brother with a robot. The robot isn't the brother, I guess.
Exactly.
But other than that,
so
whatever.
like that right there is great. Like it's not necessarily super hyper original in and of itself, but it's like you could make it a good writer could make it into something very cool. You know what I mean?
Potentially.
And I think like
Tales from the Loop was
if
pretty
you
cool.
had what's that?
Tales from the Loop was pretty cool.
Tales from the Loop.
Well, that's sort of my ultimate recommendation. You know what I mean? Like not to skip to the end, but like my recommendation is don't watch it. Go watch Tales from the Loop.
Yeah, Tales from the Loop
because
is
that's
pretty
like that was way fucking better, dude. Way
Did
better.
a much. I don't even know if it was perfect in my opinion, but it was a way better, a way closer, like tonally than this is.
100%. And I think Benny, like you keep bringing up the tone, and the tone is important because we're talking about translating pictures, like picture
The feeling
art
of, yeah.
into a film, right? And he's conveying a lot in those pictures, man. I'm looking at them right here in front of me. You know
Well,
what
for
I mean?
me, it was always look at it and you're like, man, I want to know more about this. That was one of the vibes. You're like, I really like the feel and look of this.
Right, and that's the beauty of cool science fiction artwork. Like that's what I would think when I used to look at old Frazettas or Boris Vallejos or like anything like that, or like a covers of heavy metal and shit like that. Like you just be like, wow, what is that world about, man? I think that's what fascinated us, and same thing with these photographs, these pictures that he does, and it's like you're starting like tonally Tales from the Loop like nails it. When I look at these pictures and I think about Tales from the Loop, I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like gray, a lot of overcast, a lot of melancholy.
And
like,
it's
like
slower
that writer said
paced.
from that article. Yes, and it moves at a slow pace, and they're really exploring some very cool shit in Tales from the Loop.
It's a bit of a mystery as well, as opposed to fucking shoot 'em up. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So like I think that, I'm being as constructive as I can. You've got the bones of something really, really cool here. And then you just, it just goes south with like not even the casting. Like the casting was fantastic, man. It's just like what in the hell happened to the script? I mean, somebody literally just took a giant dump on it. Because it's like go ahead.
I almost have a new pet theory here, and that's that like somebody wrote a script and then they just sort of grafted.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The the Simon Stålenhag shit onto it.
Sounds
that's
like
interesting.
Like
it was like fucking.
What is it going to look like? What are we going to do? And they're like, why don't we just do this? And they're like, I don't know, can we buy it? And they did. Like that's what it feels. That's almost what it feels like.
Yeah, no, that is what it feels like.
What was the Will Smith movie we watched? Fucking Spoon with Shia LaBeouf. iRobot. This is like iRobot too, dude.
Yeah, but iRobot's way better than this.
Oh,
dude.
for sure.
I'm sorry.
I like that idea. I mean, it did look like Russo's bought the rights to this like as soon as the book came out back in the day.
No, before it was published.
Well, yeah, sure. I think I remember around the time this was published, like Stålenhag was putting out a lot of Instagram posts with his art, and he was just like, hey, I'm putting a book together. So it might have been around that time. And then they just sat on the IP. And then to your point, it does feel like it's just grafted in. They're like, how can we bring this in? We own this. How can we bring this in? How can we bring this in? And they tripped over a fucking script about fucking robot wars. And on their way to the ground, they hit their face on Ready Player One, and this was made.
Exactly.
That's a good pet theory, man. It's the simplest solution to the question. I like it. It just felt like a video game to me.
Like worse than a video game.
Maybe it's something about the yellow ball faced dude, but it just feels like you're just like, oh, gotta go get the key card to unlock the mine carts to get out of the thing while this robot boss chases me, you know? And then you're like, gotta go to the mall to talk to Mr. Peanut, you know? Like, it's just levels in a fucking open world game.
Right.
And like, I like playing video games, don't get me wrong. And sometimes video games have mega fucking stories and are better than movies. But more often than not, they're kind of just plodding along, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, I just sent you guys a picture from like his work. And it's like, where is that in this movie?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even that's like kind of actiony because it's got he clearly like a human soldier, or what looks like a human soldier, in that little Charlie Cosmo guy running behind him, but it's like, where's that in this movie? You know what I mean? Like, even some of the aesthetics, like, you know, it's easy to do like a destroyed wasteland kind of aesthetic. You know, it's like the scorched earth or the cursed earth in the original Judge Dredd movie, and you know, like Mad Max and like all these other movies, you know what I mean? But it's harder to do it more subtly, where it looks like not quite destroyed, but partly destroyed, distressed. You know what I mean? And it's like, when I look at the photo,
it's fucked, but
just
it's
sent,
just cool enough to make you kind of want to live in the world, but you're actually like, I kind of don't, you know, like.
Yeah,
it's a little like Norman Rockwell, like a little sprinkling of Norman Rockwell, but it's like dark Norman Rockwell.
Yeah. You know, it's like, I don't know.
Well, the initial thing was like just, you know, seeing a kind of like idyllic landscape, like a field with like a really weird futuristic building sticking out of it.
Yeah.
You know, like just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, or a giant robot, like
robot,
you know,
that
but
fucking cuts
like, yeah, or a giant robot hanging out near a highway overpass, or you know, like just that kind of a thing. Like that reminded me of like being a little kid and like, I don't know, being on the way to a mall or something with my parents and seeing like a Save Ferris fucking water tower sticking up.
Yeah.
And just having this feeling like, you know, like that, like more of it was going to get up and like start moving around, you know?
Yeah, sure,
Like,
sure. Yeah.
Whatever that was, like this sort of like out of place, surreal thing in a landscape that you're like, what the fuck is that? You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like going to Mos Eisley for that first time. You know what I mean? Like when you go in and you're like, wow, everything's not all slick and polished. It's all junky and fucked up. And like, you know what I mean? Like this has that similar kind of feel to it, you know?
I definitely vibe with the, like, you're the kid in the car going to the mall and like your imagination runs wild for sure. And you're like, what if a robot would, I'm with you all the way on that one.
Right.
Well, that's like what the art, the source art reminds me of.
Yeah.
It's like, cause that's what the initial stuff was before you kind of bound it all together into a story. Like it was just, I mean, you know, you followed Simon Stålenhag on Instagram. So like, it was just stuff like that, you know, it was just sort of like disjointed, you know, random pieces of art that were like, to me, it was like, okay, this is like a field, but there's a giant robot in it, or there's like a weird futuristic building, or, you know, like, that was the whole point, was this weird, you know, like somebody put a robot in the middle of a fucking Norman Rockwell painting or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Which is cool. Like one of my favorite kind of found art forms is like when really talented artists like a Simon Stålenhag will like grab a painting from a fucking thrift shop and like paint some cool shit into it, you know? And like there's kind of like that bit too.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe not his stuff, but I see some stuff. I love that idea of like it doesn't need to be a $5,000 piece of art. It can be like just a fucking $2 piece of shit that has something cool painted on it. like that bit too. I like that kind of thing.
Or even funny. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you often will see
There's,
like people paint like stormtroopers into fucking like oil paintings and shit.
There's a company that makes. Yeah, there's a company. Are you guys familiar with Blue Willow? It's like a, you know, like a pattern that gets put on.
China. Plates and shit.
Yeah, it's like this, like sort of like idyllic Japanese, like you know, feudal sort of landscape thing. It's called Blue Willow. It's very, you know, it's fairly well known. But there's a company called Calamity Ware. There's a company called Calamity Ware that takes those same like idyllic landscapes and then puts like Godzilla like crashing through them, or
I
like
love
you
that.
know,
Oh,
like,
hell yeah, dude.
so, and it's actual like dinnerware, like, and it looks just like it's so like I wanted, my mom collects this stuff, so I wanted to get like just one piece and not tell her about
like,
it,
just
and like slip
slide
it
it
in
in
with the
there.
rest of it.
Totally, bro.
But
I love
yeah, it's
that.
like another sort of thing like that.
Yeah, and I love that kind of tongue-in-cheek art form. And like I think Stålenhag's stuff is like a combination of your 6-year-old self in a car imagination stuff, a little bit of like, he's clearly technically proficient, like he makes great stuff, and that little bit of tongue-in-cheek. And it's just like, yeah, I like this, I want to know more about this. And I think, when we were saying a minute ago, like when you see great art like a Frazetta or whatever, and you're like, I wish I could see a movie about this piece. The piece that's missing from that idea is like, your imagination is like, if there was a movie about this, it would be the coolest movie ever. And you're like, wow. But you don't actually have to do the work of figuring out what the movie would be, which is really fucking hard, like, so like,
right.
It just lends itself to the idea that there probably just shouldn't be a movie made about it because it's too fucking hard. There shouldn't be a movie made about the Clone Wars because it's too fucking hard. Just let him say it randomly in his fucking house. Hey, we fought in the Clone Wars. And you're like, what's that? That's cool. Don't need to see the movie. So I think this is another example. Like, Stålenhag's art was great. I'm glad he got his payday. He probably is happy that he got some cash, but probably sad that his artwork was basically just drugged through the fucking muck. But it just shouldn't have been a movie, clearly. Yeah. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
You mentioned the messaging, like at the end, the whole like fucking, I love that you called it a G.I. Joe outro, like the G.I. Joe. It's exactly what it is, man. And
PSA.
The PSA, yeah. But like, it's
not even as good as one of those, though.
The idea is interesting, like it is interesting, for example, with my kids, seeing them come up and other kids, like one of Ethan's friends in another school, one of the mother's group friends, like just got a fucking iPhone or whatever, and she's 6 or 7. And it's like that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be interesting because we haven't even entered the VR kind of space where there's every reason to believe that my kids, when they're 18 or 19 or 20, are going to have augmented reality, contact lensy style, always advertisements flapping up in their eyeballs kind of stuff, and they won't want to be in quote unquote reality. And like, that's a scary yet really interesting space, and it's talked about in a lot of different movies. So I love that idea. Maybe that's a topic, but
well, I mean, look, we talked about that.
Probably with Ready Player One, I would imagine.
Well, no, I don't think that was it. I think it was just you and I. I feel like Ben wasn't around for that one, but we talked about that, and I think like we think those thoughts, like what you just said, because we grew up with Skynet.
Yeah,
like Skynet is what we started with. That was the first thing that was like, oh wow, that's like that could be real. You know what I mean? Like in 20 years or whatever, back in the 80s, like, oh, in 20 years, that could be real. You know what I mean? And like, that's so ingrained in our generation, man. Like, I think more than anybody really realizes, it's like, it's in there, dude. That whole idea is in there. You know what I mean? And that's where that kind of comes from. Is this an original, Ben? Oh, shit. I see the UFOs. Oh, wow. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, I love that.
So the actual stuff would, more or less look like what there is, but without the UFOs.
Right. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's a good share, man. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Hey, man.
I just think like the idea.
You know what I mean, though, Chad?
I do. Like, the Skynet thing makes sense to me. I think the most interesting thing is I saw a meme a while ago. It was probably 8 or 10 years ago now, and it was 1998, don't get in a car with strangers. 2008, don't meet people from the internet alone. 2018, Uber, order yourself a stranger from the internet to get into a car with alone. You know, like we're like Orwellianification of the world. We're doing it voluntarily, you know? And I think that's really interesting to me. Like it's scary and it sucks.
It's interesting to me too.
But it's interesting, you know, like we're going to probably be like, I want the fucking VR lenses shit that throw ads in my face and I'm willing to do it, you know? And like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a fight against the machines thing with Terminator and Skynet. And then the reality is even sadder where we're just like, oh yes, please. You know?
Right.
And I think it's touched on here a bit. And I found it, you know, it's very eye-rolly that Millie Whitney Houston is like sitting in her classroom being like, I don't wear that shit. You know, like she's not fucking reading the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever. You know, she's like, fuck you, fucking lemmings. You know, it's like, oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
but regardless of the movie, it's an interesting topic.
It's not that any of those things are inherently evil, right? Like you could use the VR technology to great,
for sure,
for fucking awesome things, even if it is just for like in personal enjoyment. Like, it's the enshittification of everything.
Yeah,
that, you know, it's like the internet used to be a whimsical place. You know, like I remember MySpace and things, you know, like things like Stumble Upon, where you could like, you know, click and just go to a random really fun place. Like and Jeeves, now everything is designed to like try and keep your fucking dopamine pumping and your eyeballs on shit and your fucking clicker clicking. And that's, you know, and that's not the fault of the fucking technology itself. No. That's the fault of fucking
siloed
greedy
bullshit.
Fucking evil fucking human beings trying to fucking mine as much money as they can out of something.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
you just need so much money.
You can't just have a bunch of money.
You need more billions than there have been fucking billions of years since the fucking Big Bang. Like, you know, like
you just need it.
That's like roughly 14 billion, by the way. And that's like, you know, that's not much in comparison to what some actual
that's a middling billionaire these days.
That's a middling fucking billionaires.
It is.
I did some math the other day. It's like the difference between so 1 million seconds is like about 12 days.
Mm-hmm.
1 billion seconds is about 32 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? So if you had $1 billion, you could spend $84,600 a day every day for 32 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be enough money. That's fucking crazy.
You know, yeah. Now take something like 400 billion, and then, you know, like we'll use Elon, right? Because he's probably not gonna, like, at best he's got another 32 years. So, like, you know, take his 400 billion and apply the same math to it. It's fucking astronomical the amount of money this fucking guy could spend every fucking day. And it's not just him; it's tons of people, and it's like for what? For what?
I know.
What are you ever gonna fucking do with it? Like, you're just creating all this misery. Jesus.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
Sorry, that was a bit of a side tangent, but
I think it's a decent, if you'll allow it, it's a decent segue into Tucci. I really liked his like Hitler Steve Jobs kind of vibe here. He kind of captured. It was a caricature, and it was very flat, and it made no sense that he was as evil as he was. But like in the context of the flatness of the movie, I love Tucci anyways, but just this like little fucking Steve Jobs outfit and his little fucking Steve Jobs glasses, and he's a total goddamn piece of shit. It was just great. And then he Obadiah Stains out at the end. Like, it was like, okay.
Yeah, it was
great.
Just the villain version of all the other cookie cutter shit we got in the movie, you know, just fucking.
But they were like, what? Have you guys ever heard of the trolley problem? Let's like make a movie about it. And, you know,
oh my God.
Ke Huy Quan and Tucci are just kind of like, yeah, but it's worth it. We're going to like magically run the entire internet through some random kidnapped kid's brain because like just a kid, like fuck it, whatever.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, that's like another of those, like, you know, toy philosophical problems. Like, what if one kid had to suffer every day, but the rest of civilization was like absolutely pristine and like a perfect utopia? Would it be worth it? Like, there's a strange Star Trek Strange New Worlds episode that does that story better than this does.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like, you don't even decide, like, that should be a good component of it should be like a big component of the story. And it's sort of almost more like a, oh, by the way, you know?
Well, not only that, Ben, but like they somehow managed to take all the best tones and themes that were presented to us, either through the artwork or in the beginning of the film, and completely bury or sideline them in favor of
Chris Pratt telling a joke.
Yeah, everything else we're complaining about, you know, and
Mr. Peanut being
Chris
heartfelt.
Pratt getting a haircut halfway through the movie.
Dude, I'm not upset at Chris Pratt, but I'm just like,
he's making his money.
I mean, I'm just like, this is there's a lot of ways you could frame it. Like, you could say it's the worst performance he's ever done. You could say he phoned it the fuck in, or you could say this is the worst use of Chris Pratt I've ever seen. Like,
yeah, I think I'll probably go there.
Relegating him to more of whatever. What was the show that he was on? Parks and Rec, or
Parks
right?
and Rec.
Like, relegating him to like the same character as Parks and Rec, which is kind of the same character as Star-Lord. It's just like, come on, dude.
Is it reasonable to say that he kind of has an Arnie-esque pedigree in the sense, not in the sense of caliber of movie? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not making that statement.
Exactly where you're going with this.
Well, some of them are, you know, some of Arnie's movies are fucking mega, and some of them just aren't, you know. And
yeah, but I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah,
he's kind of doing that.
What?
Why? Just because he's Arnie's?
No, I mean, it's coincidental, but
yeah.
Like, I saw the Tomorrow War that he was in. It was like another, I think, a fucking Netflix movie. It was so
It wasn't Netflix.
No, it was Amazon. So fucking stupid. I don't know if you saw it, but it was another like, my daughter's gonna die fucking time travel, and it turns out she was the one that fucking blah 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 blah. Oh my god, we saved the day, and my daughter loves me now. Fucking yay. You know, like, it was like, oh my fucking god.
It was not great. But at least it was like the damage was contained to its own thing, and it wasn't like, you know, in shitifying like some already great IP,
fair.
You know?
Yeah, you're not retroactively destroying somebody's art career.
That's it. But like the Tomorrow War or this, like, if you step away from the Stålenhag stuff, like, I'm with you, that's fine. But like, it's like the modern equivalent of like a fucking B movie. It's the modern equivalent of like a fucking shitty Bruno movie or shitty fucking Van Damme movie, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I just don't.
It's Cherry 2000 with a fucking giant budget, and somehow like a million times like that budget, whatever the budget was, like that many millions times worse.
Yeah,
totally.
Cherry 2000 is not a great movie. It's a fucking schlocky,
but it's fun.
Fucking 80s B movie, but it's fun, and it actually has fucking heart, and you end up actually somewhat giving a shit about people in the end of it.
That's it. Right. And I think that's actually something that I thought about watching this, or thinking about it this morning before jumping on the call, was like, you either make a good movie, or you make a fun movie, or you make both, and like magic happens. But this was neither good nor fun. You know, like it was neither. It wasn't fun. It
wasn't. And it
jokey bullshit is like, they're trying to make it fun enough, but it wasn't fucking fun.
No, it wasn't. And I think like, now I'm thinking about Frozen Ground, actually, because like we were, you know, we had a lot of mixed feelings about that movie last week. You know what I mean? But like, when I think about that movie now, after watching this, I'm just like, wow. you know, really aside from like the shaky cam and a couple of things, like that was so much better than this fucking movie,
It was.
dude. Like
Yeah. And I didn't particularly like it.
characters that you
And
you
it
know
was
what I
better
mean?
than
Like you
this.
had characters that you could connect with. Everybody felt you know, equally creepy about Cusack and his performance, you know, and you know, Nick was kind of Nick, I guess, but like, you know, there's some like, you know, we all thought Fitty was really good, and like, you know, you really got a good sense of like the cold and the violence and like a lot of like things in there that played well with the story, you know what I mean? And it's like, and it had, you know, parts like I was disturbed watching that movie. Like I had a hard time watching that at parts because of some of the things with the kids, you know what I mean? And it's like,
Sure.
you know, take those impressions and it's like I slap them up against the wall next to this movie and it's just like, wow, that movie looks like a fucking Oscar winner compared to this, dude. You know, like this is just like, it's so utterly soulless, man. I mean, there's just like I said, like they took everything that had some meat, some soul to it, and they just completely sidelined it and buried it. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing is about the girl and the boy. You know what I mean? Really. And there's this other bit about technology and people, right? And it's like they should have just done it like it was in the book, in the art book, you know, where it's like this girl sort of like traveling to find her brother and free him. Like that would have been so much better, dude. You know, and then if she had found like another robot, whether it was the boy or not, like I'm already writing this story in my head and it sounds better than the story that we got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like her solo doing that, it would have been way cooler.
Well, that's
You know,
what
I
Ben
don't
said
know.
earlier too, of not giving a shit
it?
about the killing of the brother at the end. It's like because he was fucking gone for 80 minutes. If the movie was, like you said, a little bit more focused on that relationship, it might have been different. But like you're like, oh yeah, that kid, he was in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Oh, you got to kill him now? Oh, that's a bummer.
Right.
Yeah, and then you don't really know what the stakes are until the fucking until it's too fucking late. Like it doesn't matter anymore. You know,
Right.
by the time you realize that he's like, I don't know, in a fucking coma that he can't wake up from, like trapped in a fucking life pod or whatever, you know, and he's
Ghost in the machine.
He's bald for some reason, and for some reason he has tubes sticking out of him from all over the place, but there's one tube sticking out of his left shoulder, and I can't quite figure out how that was helping him stay alive or how it was like pipelining his consciousness to the internet or whatever the fuck was going on.
Right.
That aside, like, you know, you're like, it's kind of shocking to see him because you're like, oh God, I didn't know it was that bad, you know?
Yeah, right.
But like, just like, you already know, it's already too late. Like, you should have introduced that sooner, like to make it feel like there was more tension to try and find him. And like,
yes, you would have ratcheted up the tension and you would have increased the stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mustache.
Precisely.
They should have gone more with like, you remember that scene in 7 with the guy that was like in the bed all fucked up on OD and on heroin and shit. And it was like, whoa. Like you could have gone that way with it too. Like you could have body horrored out with the guy being, you know,
something
concentration camp.
Again,
move me.
Tone.
Yeah, tone.
Tone. What the fuck, dude? Tone.
Pick a tone.
I mean, again, I'm still looking at these fucking pictures, and it's like the tone in the pictures. Every single picture, almost not every one of them, but a lot of these are overcast. But even in the ones that are sunny, it still has a gray tone to it, man, because of the
like
way it's laid out and the mood that it creates, dude.
the irony of the fact that his art is washed out in color, considering these guys made the most washed out Marvel movies in fucking history. Like the color choices, and maybe that's why they did something different, is because all of the Marvel movies are fucking washed out from a color choice perspective.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe, sure. I don't know. This is
Chad, you were saying like about how they played it safe, and you guys could probably speak to this better than me because you're both dads, but like it almost feels like they went like kids movies.
100%.
Oh my God.
Every single review I saw on Google that was positive was, it's a great family movie. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Nothing about this is appropriate as a family movie. It's not an inappropriate movie, but it's just not a family fucking movie.
It's not.
It's a movie about
like
fucking having your eyes sucked out of your fucking brain by an evil corporation. Like, how is that a family movie?
I see how they were trying to. Now I see that they were trying to go family, quite possibly, and it's not. It's right. That was a disaster too. Like,
It
if
would
you were
be
trying
like
to
if-
make this a family movie, you fucking fucked that up too, you motherfuckers.
You motherfucker.
It would be like finding out that, like, you know, Apple, like, I am very, you know, I want somebody to do it. I don't know how it's going to be. I have lots of mixed feelings about this, but, you know, Apple TV Plus is doing Neuromancer as a TV series.
Right.
Oh boy.
It's fucking third
And
rail,
it
dude.
would
That's
be
dangerous.
it would be like finding out that they'd decided the tone for Neuromancer was going to be, let's make a family friendly movie.
Buddy
Yeah,
cop,
exactly.
G-rated.
Like, and you know, for anybody who hasn't read Neuromancer, it's anything but
that.
fucking family friendly. Like, it's
Right.
fucking a dark dystopian future with like a fucking,
Prostitutes,
you know, with like a
drug addicted
a
detectives.
techno heist with like a drug addict and like like an ex prostitute who's like a fucking a straight up killer now, like a hired killer, you know, like
You can see it. I can
like
totally see
brainwashed
that
ex-military thing, you know, like and it's like, it's okay. We decided that the tone for this should be a children's movie.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
like what
Finding Dory meets. Like, oh, okay, yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm at a bit of a loss.
Yeah, 100%.
I did enjoy the strength of the cast. Like, not that I enjoyed, like you said, the way that the cast was used, but I was like, oh, nice, Woody Harrelson. You know, I could pick up on who it was without, you know, like, I enjoy trying to figure out whose voice it is sometimes, just as I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bored of this movie. Can I figure this out and make this movie somewhat entertaining for me? I'm trying to see if I can figure out who it is.
I'm really
Brian
glad that they
Cox.
brought out Kurt Wood to be Kurt Wood.
Kurt Loder as Kurt Loder.
Right, totally.
Well, when they had that MTV thing, I was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh, the 90s. Right.
I don't even remember that part. I'm just seeing Kurt Wood as Kurt Wood in the cast.
It was just in the verse, in the
fun.
opening of the movie, where it was like teaching you that robots were fighting humans. It was MTV News. It was an MTV News segment that was
exposition.
Exposition.
Via MTV News.
Did you guys happen to randomly see, and maybe you did, Kev, the pitch meeting for this? It's really quite good.
Oh shit! No, I haven't.
I'm a little
gotta
like over the repetitiveness of pitch meeting, but I still find them quite funny.
That's the thing, though, is that they are repetitive, but then every
That's
time you
kind of the
watch one,
point.
you're just like, yeah, he
bang
nailed
on.
it again.
Yeah, but they're taking the piss out of Ki-hee Kwan. They're like, what is he? And he's like, oh yeah, not the actor, but just the character. They're like, yeah, no, the scientist guy. He's like, oh, and what does he do? He's like, oh, he's just, he's exposition. He's just, Giancarlo exposition. It was really fucking funny, man.
That is funny.
Like, if you need that much exposition, man, like, fucking come on. It's really nice to see Ki-hee Kwan getting some work, though. I will say that. That's like one of the few
No question about
glimmering
it.
things in this movie. It's like,
Yeah, but again, there's not enough of him.
I guess,
And I'm not just saying that because I'm like
No,
the
there wasn't
biggest
enough of him.
Ki-hee Kwan fan. It's like, it's not just that. It's the fact that he plays this like pivotal character in the movie, man. And that would have been another great place where you could have really explored some cool story and made some cool connection. Clearly he was, conflicted about what was going on, and it was a very, very complex situation with the kid and the place being kind of symbiotic, which I thought was a cool concept in and of itself that we haven't really seen before, or not quite like that, so just whatever.
that was like how I felt like fucking third way through the movie. It was just like,
okay, whatever.
Why are they fucking whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
And he Miles Dyson's out at the end too, you
Oh
can't
my
kill a
God.
human.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Michelle Yeoh was supposed
Anyway.
to be that character, I guess, and then she couldn't because of scheduling conflict, and then I think she might have recommended Ki-hee Kwan there, so that's kind of a cool little thread.
Right. And they sort of retconned it into a guy,
Which, whatever.
which is
Um,
fine.
Brian Cox, like, I kind of half liked the baseball robot and half didn't like the baseball robot. I liked the male robot more than the baseball robot, but it was nice to hear Brian Cox. Like I just have so much love for that guy.
I do too. I like the taco piano playing.
Taco piano was pretty good. I saw a little nug.
Except for when he started playing Wonderball, and then I wanted to murder him.
Yeah. It was like they stole that from Westworld, because like in Westworld it was quite well done, and then it's just like, yeah, no. I saw a little nug or like some connective tissue where the male robot was played by the dog lady from Everything Everywhere. You remember like the dog lady that comes into the laundromat a couple times?
Yeah.
I like that little. I liked her in that, and it's nice to see her get some work. She was also the baddie in Zootopia, the like lamb that is a bit of a dickhead.
That's cool.
Was it Jenny Slate?
I think so. It's so hard because the cast is alphabetical in IMDb that it's like impossible to fucking see who anyone is.
Oh, they don't show any fucking pictures, but yes, it was Jenny Slate.
Yeah, sick. She was good.
Jenny Slate's great.
Isn't Jenny Slate from The League?
From what?
Fantasy football comedy show, which was really fucking great.
Yeah, she was also in she's Troll Show, what the hell is the fucking movie about the kids with the hormone? Not the movie, the animated Netflix show with the big mouth.
Oh, Big Mouth.
Oh yeah. All those guys, those are that's that whole. All those things you just listed are all from that same Paul Scheer,
same crew,
Mantzoukas crew, which is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
She's in Marcel with the Shell.
Yeah, she's great.
Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, which is a new stop motion flick by a dude that did like one of my all time faves. I'm dying. Marion Max.
You're dead, honey.
Yeah, she's great. It's nice to see her pop up. Like I don't know, like that Postal character was cheese dick as fuck, but also like because the rest of the movie was like extra cheese, her cheese character was like I enjoyed it.
Yeah, she does a ton of voice work.
She's got a voice, so it makes sense. Yeah, like Zootopia as Bellwether, I really liked her in that role. That's a funny movie.
She has a great stand-up bit about football. That's just like like football from the female perspective. This is like really funny.
I'd love to hear that because I would love to hear that.
And she's like, and the special friends get together and they all wear the same uniform because they want to be better, closer friends. And then they throw the ball, and then they all rush for the ball, and then they end up in a big pile on the ground, and they,
oh man, I love it.
It's really funny.
That is good.
Any other cast? We'll go talk about Carlotta for a while.
I just hate everything at this point. I'm just
I hate the world. I hate this movie.
All right, well, Nuggets, that's ratings then.
No. I'm slightly kidding.
I'm slightly not.
I don't know. Well, fair enough. I kind of mind everything that I
Shout
could.
out to President Clinton.
What?
I said shout out to President Clinton.
I mean, honestly, an appearance by President Clinton would have been great.
He was in this movie,
dude. Wait, what? He was? Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
He signed the treaty, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's true. He did. Yeah. I always assume that stuff is old footage.
That's a saxophone death.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm going to pull out my saxophone now.
Hang on a second. I'd just like to play a tune to celebrate this historic moment.
I'm very moved by this historic treaty signing. I'm going to pull my saxophone out and play Careless Whisper.
And Mr. Peanut has reached in and touched me in my heart.
I've always been a fan of peanuts. This movie was actually sponsored by fucking
Planters. It was?
Yeah. Someone said that they saw that it was like brought to you by Planters before the movie played.
Get the hell out of here.
I swear to God. I swear to God.
That's not
been
true.
Big Peanut all along.
It's been big. Yeah. I swear to God, I'm not making it up. I think they product placed the shit out of it with Mr. Peanut, played by Woody Harrelson, who smoked like 8 blunts before doing the movie.
There you go. What was that? Was that Death by Sax?
Yeah. Saxophone death. Careless Whisper. God, I gotta state again for the record that I fucking hated the mic drops, the like record fucking needle drop piano fucking bullshit in this. Oh my god. I was like, what is that song?
What?
Oh, really?
Oh. Yeah, I know. And I also like the way the script was written, it was just it was so like forced and contrived with like these perfect pause moments for laughs after like, you know, some dumb thing that Chris Pratt's character did. I was just like, dude, fucking give me a break. Next. Fucking next and next. So yeah, let's take this fucking bitch out and tie it to a tree and shoot it.
Let's not even bother with
Mother
Let's
by
not even
Danzig.
waste
Did
this
you love the
shotgun
Mother
shell.
Danzig Chris
I
Pratt
did.
get out of the
I
truck
did.
scene?
I did.
I
But I
mean,
mean that
I
go ahead.
love Mother by Danzig. I didn't necessarily love that, but you know.
No.
I mean, to me, that was in lumped in. It was something I didn't mention in both of my individual rants. Where you know, it was like now we have a trend where there's just '80s music being used everywhere, and it's like, don't make me hate that fucking music
Yeah.
because you're now like first it was in Stranger Things and it was like okay, but it was set in the '80s, and then it's like I feel like everything now is like, oh, I think we can like wedge an '80s tune in here and it'll be great. It's like, yeah, it's because modern music sucks. So
Let's make this scene where the whole team is about to die funnier by having Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch play. Everybody likes Macky Mac. Don't get me wrong.
And actually have somebody comment on it.
Right.
Like,
I'm not going to die to Marky Mark.
I'm not going to die to Marky Mark.
Which, I mean, that's fair, but.
That is fair. I mean, if anything was going to motivate me to not die, it would be to fucking suddenly start pumping good. Yeah. No, there's no fucking way.
Yeah. I'm going to get through this track and die at the end. Other notables were Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison, if you recall.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what's that one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Every Rose. Yep. And the Don't Stop Believin' one, that was pretty cringy, man.
Oh,
That was
so
bad.
fucking cringy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was cringy,
Poorly used.
poorly, and like all these like it's kind of like when you know that guy I can't remember his name, Gary something.
Gary
he
Gygax?
redid. No, he redid that Tears for Fears song for Donnie Darko.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
awesome.
dude, that's great.
But it's like
yeah,
that's what everybody's doing now. Is they're taking some song and they're trying to. Who the fuck was that guy? Hang on.
Gary Larson.
It was Mad World.
Gary
and,
Jules.
Yeah.
What was it? Gary what?
Gygax.
Gary Larson. Gary Jules.
Gary Larson.
I love it.
What?
Gary Larson.
Gary Larson.
It's a Gary Larson.
Gary
Larson.
Gnu.
Well, what is it? Gary Gnu or
Gary
Larson?
Jules. Mad World.
Gary Jules. Yeah. So, yeah, there it is. Right on. So, you know, like that was really cool. And it was like, hey, wow, somebody took this and did something really
At
cool
the
with it.
time. Yeah.
It's kind of like when Johnny Cash took that
Hurt.
9 Inch Nails
Yeah,
tune.
that's
Hurt,
really
and-
good
and
version,
you know, like that was really cool too, but in similar vibe. But it's like I feel like everybody's doing that right now. Like there's this like
Yeah.
in the last 3 years, like in and around. It's like, and in this movie, they took that concept and they fucking cranked it up to 11
their
and then
ass with it.
shoved it up everybody's ass with a vengeance. And it's just
Well,
like every
I mean,
single tune was like that.
To
Or
be
there were
fair,
4.
Kev, it was less shoving up the ass and more pee hole.
Yes. They shove it right up your pee hole.
You know what, dude? I'm gonna shove my fist up your pee hole.
Whoa.
You fucking piece of
That's
shit.
a new thing. Pee hole fisting.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not, that would require some
Patience.
physics.
Yeah. Does I'm guessing the answer to this is no, but there's a radio station over here. It's a public radio station called Triple J, and it used to be really quite good. And they do something called Like a Version, and so they'll have a group come on, and it's a cover, and so it's really common for there to be a cover. I feel like that's definitely part of why everyone's doing it now. Not necessarily Triple J, but just
I'm pretty sure they put those on YouTube.
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
little different.
The like
Yeah,
a
they
version
do.
thing. Yeah.
It's a little different, but it kind of isn't. Like, I don't know. Back in the day, it It's if it actually kind of feels kind of like the difference between TV and movies back in the 80s and 90s, where it's like a movie actor didn't do TV and a TV actor generally would have loved to have been a movie star. And that's different now. Or like kind of like you didn't do advertising because it was like you're selling out or whatever. And that's just totally now like no one gives a shit anymore. And I feel like it's the same thing with cover songs. Like it's like if you're doing covers, it kind of like, I don't know, was kind of selling out back in the day. And now it's not at all. Like, I think I like the fact that people do covers, but it's just kind of muddied the waters, I guess. I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think about that.
About people doing covers in general?
Yeah, like famous bands doing covers. It like was kind of not cool back in the day, but now it's
situational.
Not. Yeah, I suppose.
Wait, you're saying famous bands doing covers?
Yeah. Like it's like a famous movie actor wouldn't do TV back in the day. A famous band wouldn't necessarily do covers back in the day. And now it's like no one gives a shit anymore. And I have no issue with that.
Dude, it
just feels
it
like
was almost strictly covers back in the day.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Almost every band did covers. Or almost like nobody who originally did a song or the famous version of a song was almost never the person that did it
like
originally.
All Along the Watchtower, Bob Dylan
or the person
Hendrix
that wrote it.
Yeah, that's
true.
Point.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just sent you guys a thing of nerds with beards singing Viking songs, which is better than all.
Which is better than the thing I was just talking about.
Yes, that and all the slow jam covers in this stupid movie, which is now stupid.
Yeah, which weirdly, I liked the Taco Robot, but every time he started playing a cover on piano, it made me angry.
Yeah,
It's
that's
upsetting.
fair enough. That's fair enough.
It's upsetting.
And every time that they did the autoplay player piano in the saloon in Westworld, I was always really into it. I was like, oh, I wonder what song they're gonna do here. And it was always fucking like, God damn, that's a perfect choice. It's like they took a swing at that and missed.
Doesn't sound, yeah, exactly.
Missed fucking hard.
Oh my God. This is even better, dude. Holy shit.
We've lost Kev. It's time for Nuggets Death Ratings.
Sorry, I just found an even nerdier video of half naked bearded nerds singing Viking songs.
Brother.
We'll send that over. Yeah, exactly.
They just
the
put
name
up
of
a
the band
supercut
is
of the Sexy Sax Man prank videos.
Oh, hell yeah.
the name of the band is Brothers.
Careless
Oh, boy.
Whisper. I kind of want to learn Careless Whisper on the sax as the only saxophone I know, just so I could bust it out. That'd be amazing.
I would do that 100% if saxophones weren't so fucking expensive.
That's it, yeah.
Dude, I love the guy in the dollar store with no shirt on. It's so great.
Okay, focus, Tiffany.
Hey, dude, Jar Higo sent the fucking video over chat, okay?
I have to watch it right now.
I had to watch it. Dude, I don't know what's better. The fact that he's playing sax, the shirtlessness, the suspenders, or the mullet. Or the fact that he's on the floor and the security guards tapping him on the shoulder. All right, enough of that.
I love that the top comment is, I like the part where I like the part when he played Careless Whisper.
Have you noticed that they rotate the comments around now? Because that's not the first comment that came up for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Another algorithm.
What's the first one for you?
Algorithms within algorithms.
Rage with the machines, boys. Rage with the machines.
Oh my God. So stupid. So, yeah, forget about the bits and bobs. Nuggets. Oh man. I got I got a whole separate rant about the Nuggets, man.
Oh, all right.
Let me focus for a second.
Let me focus right for a second.
Jack, I've seen you. I've seen you in concert.
Focus on watching something for a second, or
Yeah, I had to. No. I was joking around. Okay, so the Nuggets, like this fucking IMDb thing is just gotten out of hand completely. Like these Nuggets are, like I renamed it. Let's make Nuggets not fun. These aren't even Nuggets anymore. This is just fucking nonsense. It's so stupid. I was so angry reading this whole section.
I'm getting angry with you with your lead up.
Oh, yeah. Well, you should be. I mean, because this is dreadful. I mean, these nuggets are fucking terrible. It's like it's like going up to a random stranger on the street and saying like, "Oh, what did you do this morning?" And he was like, "Well, I got up and I debated whether I should have oatmeal or cereal, and then I had coffee, and then I went to work." And then posting that on the media on the internet as if somebody's gonna like give a shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's what these feel like. And then and now they're like repeating them. You know, they're like, "Oh, there was one of the characters was reading a issue of West Coast Avengers, which, of course, is a nod to Joe and Anthony Russo, who directed the Avengers movies." It's like, thanks. Nobody knew that, man. I mean, that's some real fucking trivia there. And then not only if that wasn't bad enough, then they had to fucking then they bring it back at the end of the list. And they say exactly the same thing in a separate nugget. When Keats and Michelle are taken into the mall as captives, one of the first robots is seen reading an Avengers comic. This is a nod to the Russo brothers and their involvement in the Avengers franchise. What the fuck? This is fucking terrible, dude. I mean, this is a fucking travesty. They've taken our beloved nuggets and they've just absolutely decimated them. This is
like,
fucking terrible.
We
dude.
haven't done gripes of Kev in a long time, and now there's nuggets of
out
Kev
on the floor.
Yeah, they're dead.
Yeah, you're both right. This, yes.
Nuggets of Kev.
Nuggets
bleeding out on the fucking floor.
The nuggets are in fucking Mars, the Mars red light district, and they're literally like running out of oxygen, and they're just gasping on the floor.
They are. I mean, like, listen to this. Here, this
like
is a quote unquote
Cyclops
trivia.
girl is dying next to them.
One of them is this.
She is so
filmed
sweet.
under the working title Stormwind. Who cares? Like, if there was some sort of clever connection to some other film or some other thing, yeah, that would be something worth telling.
Yeah.
Telling me that Millie Bobby Brown describes this movie as a live action Wall-E. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? She thinks this movie is a live action Wall-E. This movie is so far fucking away from Wall-E. I mean, first and foremost, this nugget sucks. This isn't a nugget. This is a piece of shit. And nobody should even put that in there.
And nobody should mention this movie and Wall-E in the same fucking breath.
Thank you. Exactly, man. Nobody should be mentioning these two movies because that is blasphemy. Because Wall-E is a fucking masterpiece, dude. That is a masterpiece about robots.
It really is.
And junk. And this movie is also about junk, but it is junk because this
Your junk.
script and this entire project were clearly circumvented by somebody, because there's no way, I'm now convinced, that the Russo brothers and the same two writers that they've worked with on probably 6 films came up with this piece of shit. No way do I fucking believe that. No way.
No fucking way. Okay.
So like, that's it. I'm done being pissed. I want to go.
I like it, man. Well, that was the nugget section, everybody.
It's time to get lit. Let's go.
I like it.
That's nuggets. Deaths. We had 1 death. Actually, there were 2 deaths.
We had another death. That beloved younger brother character died in the end of this movie, and that was very sad.
So we had me. I had the death by Sachs. My Bill Clinton comment, and then we had the kid. The kid at the end died, and then we had. I'm even going to add another one here. This movie was DOA. Recommendations.
Oh, I actually died. I just discovered I died a minute ago.
Oh.
I thought that the dog lady was in the movie by the guy that made Mary and Max, but Memoir of a Snail is a different movie, so I'm dead. Obscure stop motion animation death.
Did that all happen in your head, or were we talking about it?
We were talking about it. You just weren't listening. You were watching videos and ignoring everything.
Oh, I was. You're right.
You were fully ejected at that point.
Dude, I'm going to put that down too, because that's fair. I was watching Tony Hawk Pro Skater intros.
Seriously? Okay.
Yeah, because they had because it had Gorilla Radio in it. And I was like, oh, I remember how that used to be tight, and I used to love watching that.
I like it.
All right.
Did we actually talk about that? Like, yeah, man, we did. Yeah.
No,
I was watching Tony Hawk. Okay.
no. I think what would have been funnier if you had said, yeah, we talked about that.
We were talking
you were doing something different. Shit, that's funny. And then what was that again? It was
Obscure stop motion animation death.
Ooh, I love that. Obscure stop motion. God damn, my fucking laptop keyboard was so quiet, and this thing is
That thing
so
is
loud.
clickety clackety.
It is. It's cool. It's actually like this really bright yellow with like black keys. I bought it just because of the colors.
Hey, man, I saw the
love this
picture.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Bro, we saw the
I
picture.
saw
dude.
me in the picture.
And
Anyway,
I was there too.
And I was there too.
On the floor.
It was unclean. All right, so my recommendation is
Her breath, rich with faraway spices.
He would have been good at this as Mr. Peanut. I like
Bobby's
Woody and everything, but
sluggish with goat meat.
And I was there too.
So good.
recommendations. I recommend you watch Tales from the Loop.
Yes.
Yeah.
I too also.
I think I'm gonna third that. Like,
And maybe just Google
If
Stålenhag's
you-
art a bit and look around. And then
I
that'd be
mean,
good.
absolutely. Like, if you haven't seen this movie and you're listening to this, I mean, watch the movie. But
No.
at the same time,
maybe,
like,
but no.
look up Stålenhag's work. Look at the images online, and then go watch Tales from the Loop, and you'll see that really kind of syncs up with the tone, which I think is the best way to describe it, as Ben said in the beginning of the episode. And that's it. Beyond that, it's rough, man. And that's it.
Town.
Slave 2 weeks. What are we doing next week?
What do you guys want to do?
What about let's do Super Troopers.
Yeah, okay.
Because we need something.
You've
to
never
lift
seen
us
it,
up.
right?
I've either seen it one time and don't really remember it, or never seen it, and I don't even remember what that is.
Okay.
All right.
Well, it's our Kevin Bacon. I mean, Brian Cox is
Yes.
in that and this. So
There you
There
go.
you go. And there you have it, folks. Next week, Super Troopers.
too fucking good. 2 weeks good.
I don't think I know that Jarhigo and I are worn out from hating on this movie so hard. So we're gonna go ahead and
We'll
take
see
off.
you the fuck later.
Thanks for joining us for Electric State, and we'll see you next week for the much better classic Super Troopers. That's going to be it for now, folks. Ta-ta.
Bye.
Toodles.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. If you would like to check out the show notes for this episode, you can do so in your podcast app of choice or at our website, ebd.fm/episodes/296. And as always, at this point in the show, we'd like to take a second and thank everybody for listening to the show, being fans, being colleagues, if you will, and supporting us as you've done these few years. We really, really appreciate it. And for anybody new out there that would like to know how that they can support us, you can support us directly with money on Patreon if you like. You can tell people to check out the show. You can post things around on social media, and you can rate us and review us wherever you get your podcast. All those things are great ways to help us out, and we would really appreciate it. And we do really appreciate it, so thank you. Additionally, if you'd like to join us on social media, we are on Instagram. We use the handle @EBD Podcast. And that's it. Thanks so much for joining us for Electric State. We'll see you next week for Super Troopers. So long for now, folks.
One for C-Lab, two for Tropiary, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Beady, beady, beady. 2 weeks.
today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.